This is the Transformers Reactivate Voyager class Starscream. The figure is part of a 2-pack together with Bumblebee from the Transformers Reactivate video game. And so look at the packaging. Great looking artwork. I picked up the set from our toys. Let's get Starscream out of packaging. And here is a Reactivate Starscream out of the box. And man, this figure looked so cheap in packaging and even in promo pics. I thought it was going to be cheap, but when you have him in hand, he actually feels very solid and very premium. I am shocked. And the design looks phenomenal. Details are great. Most of the gaps are filled out. It's looking to be one pretty amazing Starscream figure. Head to toe, the figure stands at about 17 centimeters tall, or about 6 3/4 inches tall. For comparisons, here he is with the Optimus Prime I just reviewed recently, the Reactivate Voyager class Optimus Prime. He's a little shorter than Optimus Prime, but understandably so. Here he is with fellow Decepticon in the Reactivate series. We've got Deluxe class Soundwave. Now, arguably, Soundwave should have been a Voyager. Even in G1, he was almost as big as Starscream. So he's a little small, but I'm not sure if this is how he is in the game. If in the game he's really shorter than Starscream, then this is correct. And here he is with the War for Cybertron trilogy Earthrise Voyager class Starscream. Now this is what I'm talking about, Hasbro. This is a properly sized Voyager class figure. Thank you for getting back in form and giving us figures that are actually pretty good. And like I always say, if you give us great, excellent figures, we will show up and we will purchase them. Now onto the details of this new Starscream figure. He's got weapons coming out of his arms. I guess these are his null rays. Instead of his shoulders, they come out of his forearms. And I love the way they're sculpted. They plug on some 5mm pegs onto some 5mm peg holes. And the way they're sculpted, it feels like they've transformed out of his forearm. Like the panels popped up and then the guns just popped up. And I love that. They didn't have to do that. They could have made just big, huge weapons. But I love that they've taken time to really design it so it looks like that. Now, you will notice when you look at Starscream in detail that a lot of his parts on the left side and right side, they are asymmetrically molded. Initially, I thought when I saw promo pics of this figure that they were just painted asymmetrically. A lot of them are actually molded differently. Obviously, the guns are molded differently. The panels are different. The guns do look similar, but they're different. The wings, the silhouette may look the same, but as you can see right here, the paneling is different. This one has a more pronounced set of panels. This one's a little bit more smoother. The fins are actually the same. You can see the shoulder pads. They look similar, but the panel design on them are different. You can see some grooves here and there. This one's a lot more smoother. Yeah, even the hip panels. They're actually molded differently. So that's interesting. I'm not sure I like that. You can see the thighs are also molded differently. Legs do appear to be the same. Even the biceps are different. Wow. Forearms do look the same, but the biceps are different. Let me see the chest. I missed those. I didn't quite see them initially. But yeah, a lot of pieces that are molded differently, and I don't know how accurate this is to the video game render. Not entirely sure what to do with that. I'm not a big fan of asymmetric figures. I do like some order, some form, but somehow it works. It doesn't bother me as much. It's quite noticeable, but then you get used to it and it kind of grows on you. Plastic quality in the figure, man, it's like Optimus Prime. Very solid. I mean, I wish they could do more of this. This is legacy War for Cybertron type of really solid plastic. Loving it. Paint apps are amazing. I mean, there's no shoddy workmanship on it. I mean, everything's really done well. And he's got a very cool head sculpt. And look at that head sculpt. Man, the head sculpt's so badass. It actually looks like an Autobot's head sculpt, not a Seeker's head sculpt. The sides of the head are less pronounced. These things which are more apparent in the G1 Starscream's head is less pronounced on this Reactivate Starscream. I love the silver paint. The eyes are painted baby blue or pastel blue. Really nice. He looks like an Autobot. Articulation for the figure. The neck is on a ball joint. You got a waist swivel. Shoulders, allow you to move the arms forward and backward, 360. You got a hinge to allow you to move the arms in and out. You got a bicep swivel, hinge elbow. The wrists go in and out because of transformation. Unfortunately, there are no panels to cover these spaces right here. The hips allow you to push the legs, kick the legs forward and backward, make them do the splits. You got thigh swivel, hinge knees, and the ankles allow you to move the feet up and down, and have the rocker tilt. Transformation, the instructions tell you a more roundabout way of doing it. They ask you to transform the back first, then transform the under chassis, and then just tab everything in. It can be a little annoying, so hopefully I can show you a more organized way to transform this figure. So remove the weapons, set them off to the side. We'll use those later. Let's start with the arms. You're going to fold the fists inward, and then you want to rotate the biceps this way. Then fold the shoulder pads down. The legs, the feet, you want to fold up the heel spurs. You want to pop the front parts of the legs, the shins, upwards like this, and then fold the feet up like that. And then at this point, you want to go ahead and already position the front of the legs, the feet up like this. That's going to be the end position. They're going to tab in somewhere here in with the backpack right there, but just get them in position so it's a lot easier. Now fold the tail fins off to the side. This is probably the part of the transformation which I dislike the most, and it involves unhooking the neck to bring down the chest. And you can see right here there's that really teeny tiny hook that hooks onto that metal rod. And I don't know, I could be wrong, but over time I fear this thing is going to soften. It's going to become brittle. It's going to break, and I hate these kind of things. That you got to be so careful with them. You got to just pull on that head and just fold it down. I wish there was another way to do it. Maybe some tighter pegs right here that tabbed in, but it is what it is. Rotate the head 180 degrees and then fold that whole neck assembly onto the cockpit of the plane. Fold it back up like this, and then fold up the chest, tab it in up there, and then the nose cone folds up like this. I love how they've sort of reimagined the G1 Transformers as they appear in the cartoons. They've reimagined them in this reactivated line. This is how the G1 Starscream transformed. The head, you could see it in the old cartoon, which is very similar to how G1 transformed, but you know, a little different. This one I think is a lot better. It's a lot more efficient, and I'm just loving the amount of engineering they put on this one to reimagine those G1 characters. The backpack, you want to unfold everything out. Just fold everything up, out and around like this, just to give you space. You rotate this one like this, and then the wings, you want to rotate them in the proper orientation, and you just want to straighten everything out. You don't want to tab them in just yet, just straighten everything out and set them into position. These wings are going to form the tail fins. You want to just move them up like that. Okay, the arms, you want to unpeg them here at the shoulders. It's a little tricky, but you got to unpeg them first. And then these small fins right here, they're going to slide down. It took me a while to figure out what the instructions were trying to tell me by moving these fins down. Okay, and then the arms, they're going to move all the way down. And then these shoulder or the chest pieces, they're going to rotate back up like this and form this part of the exhaust, or I guess the intake of the jet. And then the back section, you want to go ahead and fold. And it's sort of like a jigsaw puzzle right here. You got to figure out intuitively where things go. And then the forearms, where the null rays were tabbed in, they are going to tab onto the wings. It's a little fiddly, but once you get it lined up, it should tab in seamlessly. Let me just see. Okay. And then just line the wings up, line these pieces right here. They should form sort of like a jigsaw puzzle and complete that whole section of the jet. Okay. And then finally, the leg pieces, if you just rotate them properly, they're going to tab onto the backpack. The front of the legs, like I said, that section right there is going to tab onto that hole in the backpack. All that's left is to mount the weapons. The instructions tell you to put this one here, but I think it looks better on the other side. The flat side stays inside the jet, while the extended side or the protruding side stays outside. And then this one, you plug it in here. And there you go. There is Reactivate Voyager class Starscream in his, man, badass looking jet mode. I mean, come on. Come on. It's a mix of Cybertronian design with a sort of Earth mode, Earth-based design. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this, folks. I mean, look at this. It's like what an F-15 Eagle would look like on Cybertron. Like, Decepticons, attack! Oh, man. It looks so cool. The only thing missing in this alt mode, well, some paneling would be nice to cover this gap, but it was very difficult because if this one had moved out, it would expose the head. Don't exactly know for sure how they were going to do this. Maybe the chest could have folded somewhat a little bit and closed it. I don't know. I'm sure DNA will find a way to make a DNA design DK upgrade kit for that, but doesn't bother me as much. There's no landing gear. That's probably the only thing missing. Could have put a small wheel right here onto his shins. And here, I think there is enough space in the nose cone for a small, like front-ended landing gear to just flip down. And for comparisons in alt mode, here is the Earthrise Starscream back once again. And wow, I did not expect him to be actually longer than this new Reactivate figure. I thought they would at least be the same length, but yeah, he's a tad bit longer, about a centimeter longer, half a centimeter longer. But in terms of width, yeah, this Reactivate is much wider. Really, really cool looking jet mode for the Reactivate. Oh, it could pass as an Earth mode jet. I mean, look at that. And I realized that this Earthrise Starscream also didn't have landing gear. So I guess the designers were just being consistent. No landing gear in jet mode. But yeah, I'm hoping we get Skywarp and Thundercracker in this mold. I mean, I would totally buy that. And so some final thoughts on this new Reactivate Starscream. Man, I love this figure. I did not expect it to be this good, this cool. I honestly thought this was going to be just a above average to mediocre figure, but man, the design was absolutely amazing. Gorgeous, gorgeous design. The engineering, transformation. I actually had a lot more fun transforming this figure than the Earthrise Starscream. It's a little fiddly at times, and that neck hook kind of bothered me a bit, but overall, very, very pleased with the transformation. Plastic quality, I don't need to say anything anymore. It's great, and I'm glad Hasbro is back in form with these Reactivate figures. He has great plastic quality, great engineering, and the scale, the size of the figure. This is proper Voyager class figure, and I hope that this is the start. This Reactivate line is the start of even better things to come from Hasbro and Takara Tomy. You guys have nailed this Reactivate line, and it's so far, out of the 3 figures I reviewed, they're all great figures. I mean, Soundwave, a lot of people are hating on that figure. It's really a great figure. My only problem was the plastic quality, but terrific, terrific designs. I really thought I was just gonna review this figure and then sell it off and flip it, but I'm really hoping I don't need to purge this figure anytime soon because I am just loving it. I think it's obvious this figure is going to get a 10 out of 10. If you guys have been on the fence about whether to get this Bumblebee and Starscream set, man, you have got to pick up this figure, especially if you're a big fan of the Generations line of figures, particularly if you love Starscream. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think of this Transformers Reactivate Voyager class Starscream. Hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.